Hello, everyone, and welcome to TILTS, the interesting liquid talk show. My name is Ian Sansevera, also known as Not Ian Sans. I'm the director of post-production for 1UP Studios and also the host of this podcast. If you're new to the show, welcome. Did you know that you can check us out on all of your favorite podcast applications? We are, in fact, on all of them. And if you'd like to watch TILTS with your eyeballs, you can head on over to youtube.com/teamliquid, where you can catch the video version of TILTS. Now, a little shameless self-promotion never hurt anybody. We have an awesome 5-star review from listener GamerGirl193729, which absolutely sounds made up, that says, "I love this podcast because of the informed guests and the wonderfully well-spoken host." Thank you so much, Gamer Girl. I really do appreciate it. We all appreciate a 5-star review. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, that's where you can leave us a 5-star review. So go ahead and do that if you enjoy previous episodes, or you will enjoy this episode, which I'm sure you will. And today's episode of TILTS, like all episodes of TILTS, will be very exciting. Specifically today, we are going to be talking about VALORANT, the game that is sweeping the nation, sweeping the world, and sweeping us off our feet. The FPS title that everybody loves, including our guest today, which is ScreaM and ec1s from Team Liquid's VALORANT roster. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Hey, man. Thank you for inviting us, man.
Of course. Well, ScreaM, we'll get to you in a minute because a lot of people know who you are. But ec1s, you're relatively new to the pro scene, new to Team Liquid. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your background, where you came from, where you grew up, how you got into all of this. So I guess, where do you live? Where did you grow up? Like, kind of how did you get into gaming in the first place?
So I'm from Burnley in England. Not that many people have heard of it. It's a very small town north of Manchester. If you follow football, you might know it. Obviously, I got the scarf and the foam finger there. So yeah, growing up, I was just, like, really into sports. Like I was a goalkeeper. I loved playing football. Wanted to be a professional footballer, and so I kind of found games like playing FIFA with my friends from school, like playing pro clubs, whatever. Wasn't really much of like a FPS player at the start, but then so playing football, obviously I was training a lot, and I broke my finger, and as a goalkeeper, couldn't practice anymore. So I broke my finger, waited for it to heal. Then the very first training session back, the same coach, and we're doing the same like drill, breaks my finger again.
Oh my God.
I was kind of fed up. I couldn't like really train for like a year. So obviously it turned to like games and stuff like that. I found CS while playing Rust on my computer. I was in like a Rust clan like as a little kid, and some guy said, CSGO makes you better at aiming on Rust. So I was like, okay, I'll buy CSGO. Then it kind of just went from there, played CS, found out about the pro scene, then like I wanted to try and get there, then went from there.
So you how were you even able to play games with a broken finger?
So it was my pinky finger, so I was like I was able to like get away with it, but for like goalkeeping, obviously, like I can't catch a ball with a broken finger. It just doesn't end well.
That's funny. Yeah, so you were playing real football, and then you decided to start playing FIFA, or it was kind of simultaneous, and then CS, and now VALORANT, which is cool. ScreaM, how about you? How did you get into this in the first place? Like, what was your intro into games?
All right, so it was very young. I was like, I don't know. Like, I have been playing games all my life with my little brother. He's kind of the same age as me. He's like 1 year younger than me. So we've been growing up together, and we've been playing every console game, everything, all the time. When I was a kid, I was playing basketball, though. I was playing basketball, not football, but like I've been playing basketball for a couple of years, and I have a big brother, and he was playing games. He knew Counter-Strike 1.6, and when Counter-Strike Source came up, like Half-Life 2 it was back then, he bought me the game, and I was so happy about it, but I didn't know anything about computers because I was playing console all the time, and I don't know, when I started this Counter-Strike thing, yeah, I don't know, man, it was so addictive. So I continued, and I left basketball. And then I don't know, it just started from there, basically, like because of my older brother, I guess.
And where did you grow up?
So I'm from Belgium. I born in Brussels. I'm originally from Morocco. My family is from Morocco, but I have been living here all my life, and I have been going to Morocco like in the summers for vacation and stuff like this. But I actually lived here all my life, so I can't really say. I'm of course Moroccan, but I'm not as Moroccan as someone who lives there, of course. So yeah, man. Belgium in Brussels.
I feel like Belgium and the UK I feel I might be completely wrong, but I feel like not very many esports pros come out of either one of those places. Do you think that there's like a reason for that? Like, I don't know. It seems like very selective.
I think for Belgium, it's because it's a small country, and like I think there's not a lot of players from small countries all the time. And I don't know about England. Like, what's your excuse?
I guess we just got bad genes or something. I don't know. I think we were pretty good in Source at one point, if I remember. I never watched Source, but people tell me the UK was good in Source, but CSGO, I guess it just wasn't our game, you know? It's one of those.
I guess so. And ScreaM, you've probably been a bazillion places just traveling to CSGO and stuff. But ec1s, have you got an opportunity to travel like around Europe or anything like that? Have you been any cool places?
For CS, yeah, I've been to Spain. I went with ESL Clash of Nations with Team Endpoint. It was me, Smuya, Thomas, Robin, and Tisak. And I think that's like back then. I'm not sure if it's changed, but that back then we came second in a European event on LAN. And that's like the best like the UK had ever did. It was like kind of weird. Somehow we like upset loads of teams and made it there. And I've been to Sweden twice. One for the show Gamers. If you guys have seen that, I was on like a reality TV show type thing. Like we live in a house.
Wait, what? No, hold on. Wait, whoa. No, I have never heard of it, but I'm going to stop you right there and we're going to talk about that. You were on a reality show where gamers lived in a house. Explain. Yeah. Explain.
So it's kind of like Big Brother. So like you live in a house, but it was like based around CS. So there was two teams, like a red team, blue team. And there's 6 people on a team, and obviously you can only have 5 on a server. So, and there's coaches. The coaches were Spawn and Devil Walk. So Devil Walk was my coach. So there's people on the team, and like, so there's a game at the end of every night. So red versus blue. If a team loses, one of their players gets voted off. So it's kind of like,
so it is Big Brother, but with CS:GO.
Yeah, Big Brother, kind of like with CS:GO. Yeah. So I went there. The prize was you get a trial with Fnatic to join their academy team. So I got there, I went on Team Red, and I won. It was like a me, Matafe, Meadow, who's now on Fumpus Phoenix. I played with him. Me, Matafe, Meadow, Alex, and Canny. And we joined Fnatic. We got the trial, we passed it, and we joined for like 6 months.
Really? All from this reality show?
Yeah.
That's it. Wait, ScreaM, did you know about this show? This must be like a European thing.
I didn't know, man. Like, this is a new... I just heard this. But
Spawn, we're all learning about your... so you're a reality show star.
yeah, Spawn was there. Oh, I just went on it as well, but he left early.
All right.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
That's cool. So you
where was it? Where was it? Like,
it is in Sweden. It's in Skövde in Sweden, yeah.
So you were on the Fnatic Academy for a bit, and then from there you just decided to drop off of Fnatic Academy and start your own CS team? Like where, I guess historically, how did that line up?
So we're in Fnatic Academy and like we're doing really well. We should have made MDL. We lost to Virtus Pro. I still remember this round. It haunts me. We were like gonna win the game. I had an AWP on like a B, and like they had little time and they were coming to B, and I just missed 2 like easy AWP shots and I lost as a game. And that was like it was awful. So that happened. Like we didn't make it. Then like the rules changed like with Valve and like events and stuff. So like academy teams weren't able like to be a thing because you could only own 1 team like per the rule. And so like we got dropped from Fnatic and we're doing really well as a team. But I think all of us just thought, we've done really well in this team. And like things weren't like that great, like chemistry wise, stuff like that. And we thought, grass is greener on the other side. Let's all go our separate ways and like join these other teams. And we kind of rushed into it, and like we all of us got no offers. So it's kind of like, well, now what? What do we do? So then I ended up going back to the UK scene and playing with like some guys. Doing well, like we won the first team I joined back. We won my first LAN because I never won a LAN before until I went back to the UK scene because it was kind of weird. I kind of skipped from the bottom to the top of the UK scene by the time I came back.
Yeah.
So we won like 2 LANs in a row. I think we did really well, but just I think like the UK mentality and stuff like that have kicked in, and we never really fulfilled our full potential. So yeah, kind of ended up like that. That's
damn, that's an interesting avenue to get in, from breaking your finger playing football to being on a reality show and all this other stuff. You mentioned the one play that haunts you of missing those 2 op shots. ScreaM, do you have a play that haunts you that you wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night just thinking about the one time you messed up?
It didn't happen a lot of times, but like I messed up on a really important round sometimes, and I remember only one round when it was 15-14, and I missed one guy from behind with M4 against the Brazilian teams. I don't know. I think it was MIBR, or I don't know if it was them, but it was a Brazilian team, and 15-14 for us, and then we lose overtime after that. Like because I missed one shot from behind, but I mean I usually don't do crazy stuff and like mess up crazy stuff, but can happen to anyone, especially with the op. Like I've been messing up with the op a couple of times on CS, man. So I think everybody knows that, so it's okay, man. I have never said I'm a good opper. Like when it's on the ground, I have to take it, and man, who knows what can happen after. But I got better today, I think. Yeah, definitely.
That's good. And for those of the people that are listening that don't know your competitive history, at least in CS, kind of run me through kind of where you started on your first team and kind of where you went in the scene from there. It doesn't have to be long-winded. You can kind of give us a general overview. I know you have a 10-year history.
So yeah, I made a YouTube video about this. So just take this link and go check it out. But no, to make it short, man, my first event was when I was 15 years old. So in the beginning, like my mom was kind of scared. She didn't know what was going on, like a video game and you have to travel so far and stuff. She didn't take it really seriously, but back then I was gonna go with the Belgian team, the Belgian national team on CS. So it was really fun. It was on CS Source, and they actually called my mom and they explained her like it was a real thing. It was a big event. So my mom let me go, she trusted, and it was like 8 hours away from me for the first event, so it was kind of a big thing for me. And on my first event, I actually played on stage. It was like a big stage, and I actually played my first game ever on stage, so that was a really big thing for me as well. And from after this one, I mean, right before this, everybody on online was treating me to like that I was cheating and stuff like this, like. Everybody thought I was cheating. So after this event, everybody actually knew I was not cheating, and I got an offer from Redline back then. That was like my first ever team. It was Redline, and I was playing with Happy from CS. Uzi, he was a CS player, and he's on Valorant as well now, and a few other players. It was a really good team for the first team, and I was so young, man. That was crazy. And then
15-year-old pro
yeah,
must be like, I can't even imagine. Yeah, that's insane. I don't even know what I was doing at 15.
It's crazy, man, to think about it.
Riding a bike and eating ice cream and not even knowing about anything.
I was playing video games, man. Like this is a good age thing.
Yeah, no, you're lucky because my mom would she would like take the power cord from my PlayStation and stuff and tell me that video games were going to rot my brain.
Exactly. I think
and now look at us.
I think that's exactly the generation where people got blocked on playing video games at that age because it was not that serious, it was not that big. But now I think it's a bit better, and like of course you have to be careful, like you still need to go to school and stuff. So I made sure to go to school. But after 18, after I finished, like I don't know how you guys call it, but after 18,
high school.
You finish high school, and then like after that, I didn't go to school anymore. I just went all in CS from 18 to now. So and now in Valorant, of course. But so yeah, it's been a long road, man.
Well, that's you guys have such unique stories that all brought you to the same place, which is really cool. Why leave CS? Like, what was wrong with CS, or what was the appeal of Valorant for both of you, I guess?
The appeal was kind of like a fresh start. CS for me kind of got stale. I was like stuck at the same level for like the same time. I think it was like an ESA advanced like every season, like since the start, and could never make that. That goal for us was to make MDL, and we never made that. So we kind of like teams came and gone. So it was kind of getting, the same old, same old. So Valorant just gave us a new opportunity, a fresh start, and it's something. Like a lot of people I knew, especially in the UK scene, we all wanted to give it our go.
And ScreaM, how about you? You were a CS pro forever.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, it's a little longer story for myself because I've been playing CS for such a long time in the pro scene, since 2011 exactly, even 2010. So yeah, man, nearly 10 years I've been playing the pro scene, and it was really hard to leave the game and leave the scene. But in some way, my position on CS like last year's was kind of like standby. Like I didn't do anything, and I was like I kind of left the scene already for a while. In my opinion, like I was not in the scene, in the actual scene for a couple of years. So that's kind of frustrating for me. And when a game like Valorant comes out, like it's a big opportunity, and I love that game. So that's the biggest part, is that I really love that game, and it got me like a fresh breath, I would say. So definitely, man, that's the main reason.
And so what's your favorite part of Valorant? I mean, these questions are going to be for both of you. So it's going to be, like, so what is the appeal of Valorant for you? Like what motivates you every day to, open the program and keep grinding?
My personal motivation is the team, like Liquid. Like I wanna be the best team in the world, and I think we have the full potential to do that. And also, as I said, I love that game. It's so addictive. So when you when you get headshots and stuff, it's really a good feeling, and I love that, man. It's everything is new, so that's really you have so much to learn still from the game. So that's a really big part as well.
Yeah, I'll second that as well. There's so much to learn. Like every single day, like you see something for the first time, or like you learn something new, and it's just always like a learning process, which like keeps everyone like focused and like makes it fun as well. Because obviously, you go into games where you see something for the first time, it's like, oh, that's sick. I can bring that into team practice, and like then we can try that out. Then if it works, then we can like bring it to like an official game, stuff like that. It's just like a really fun and like addictive game because it's like CS, but there's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more variation. So like, it never really gets stale.
And how do you feel about the scene, the competitive scene in Valorant? Obviously, it's a new game, new Riot title. Like nothing's really been established yet. But for you guys that are pros, right, which so many people are fighting to be at that level, how do you feel about the scene so far from what you've seen?
I think the scene's developing really good. I feel like NA has got a lot more love than EU tournaments wise, but I think that's to be expected. It is like a game that was made in America, but the scene I think is really developing well, especially in Europe. We have like I'd say like 4, 5 top teams. We've got G2 obviously, us, Fun Plus Phoenix, NIP, and Bonk now are coming up really well. So it's strange to say as well that I'm friends with people from CS in every single one of those teams, besides maybe Bonk. So it's like it's strange to say like all my friends like we've come over to Valorant and now we're like at the top of the scene, whereas in CS we were like very very far down. So it's really amazing, really to see.
Yeah, exactly. I think the scene has been growing up really fast. The game is still new, and we can see a lot of teams and a lot of organizations into Valorant as well. So it's a big start for me. I think Valorant is a big start.
So, ec1s, you were saying that you were like kind of far down in the CS scene, but then you decided to, grab a group of guys and start Fish123 and started Valorant. So when did you start it? Kind of tell me the origin story behind Fish123.
So the origin story behind the team, and we'll get to the name later. Behind the team, it was like me and Artis were in a CSGO team called like Team Excellency, and we was in a boot camp in Bulgaria, and like practicing CS and stuff. Then we saw that Project A beta has been announced. It's coming out on this date, and even though we're at a CSGO boot camp, it sounds bad, but like we're like, okay, we need to give Valorant a go. So like that's when like the idea like initially came from. It was like, right, okay, we're gonna go for this when it comes out. We'll like tell the boys like we're gonna leave for Valorant. So then once the beta came out and we played it for like a few days, like we're like I think 1 or 2 days, we're like, okay, yeah, this game's fun, this game's good. Like let's get a team going. And that's when Cryptics messaged me saying, right, we need to get a team going. So then me, Artis, Dom, and Jay, we all got together in a CS:GO team before me and Artis left, and we wanted to bring it back for Valorant. So Cryptics messaged me and he's like, okay, we need to get on practice as soon as possible because we wanted to be like the NIP of early CSGO, just like come out and like dominate it. That was the idea anyway. So we started practicing teams like 2 days into the beta or something like ridiculous like that. So we just came out for it. Then we were looking for a fifth player. Coach Sliggy at the moment, he was playing with us, but we knew one person from the UK team, Link, who is currently on Vex Gaming for CSGO. He was playing in like advanced playoffs for an MDL spot, but like he was the same as us. Like he was fed up with CS, and everyone in the UK knew he was like the best player. Like his aim is crazy good. So we knew we had to have him. And once like he finished like his duties on CS, able to get him in, and then we had like the full roster with Coach Sliggy. And then the name Fish123 was like Sliggy's and Cryptix's idea. It's actually like an old CS Source team that dates back to like 2008 or something like that. Like it's a really, really old name, like a group of players. And Kita, Complexity's coach, was like the original creator back in Source. So we asked for his permission to use the name, because obviously it was a good name. We wanted to, respect him and like ask for permission to use it and do good with it. So like he gave us his blessing and then just went from there.
That's cool. That's good that you actually asked for permission, because most people probably wouldn't do that. So that's good. And then ScreaM, how did you stumble into the whole thing?
So for me, it was a little bit more complicated because I didn't take a decision to leave CSGO until a long time. Like it was like, I think 2 months into the game. Like I was playing Valorant for 2 months and I still didn't take my decision. So I knew that, of course, that was the best decision for my future, and like that was one of the biggest opportunity ever, because I don't think there is many games like Valorant coming up every day, So I had a couple of things in mind, but the problem I had is that I was under contract for Game Legion, so it was kind of hard for me to just join a team just like this, because I had a buyout and all that stuff. So Liquid, actually, we had a good talk with Liquid, with my agent as well, Jerome. So he took care of this, and he knew Liquid very well. So it was it was a good mix up, because for Fish123 they needed one player, and I was like free. I was getting into Valorant, but the only condition was that organization just buy me, so it was kind of hard, but Liquid was on it, and I'm really happy they trusted me and they trusted the team as well. That's very important. And obviously, like I think, I don't know about Fish123, but I think they were happy to play with me. I don't know who they were gonna take, because Ardis left, but I think they wanted me to play with them, so that's perfect, because I also wanted to play with them, because that was like the best team in the beginning, and they won everything. And I think this team has a lot of potential, as I said. So I saw that, and I of course accepted that to play with them, and that's how things finalized.
So were you already in talks with Liquid before you knew about Fish123?
Yeah, like my agent was in talk with a lot of organizations, like
I see, yeah.
A couple of ones, and the problem is that I think all of the organizations didn't want to to buy a buyout that big, so Liquid is kind of the only organization, and I'm very proud of it. It's a very big name, and I'm super happy about it.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. I mean, it's Valorant's definitely on the rise. Is there anything about the game right now that you guys kind of wished was different from a pro perspective?
Well, they're making a lot of updates, a lot of patches, and they're trying to do a balanced game, which is really important. I think they're on the good road. Valorant is on the good road. They just need to keep it up, to keep listening to the players as well. That's very important, to the pro players. And I don't think anything is missing like right now. Like the only thing we want is big tournaments and stuff like this. And I think this will come soon, maybe next year. But as now we're preparing and we're getting better at the game, and it's gonna be good, I think.
Yeah, for me, Jet. I wish Jet was different, because I see a lot of people on Twitter complaining about the operator being broken. But I think just Jet as a champion, or as an agent, sorry, is just too strong combined with the operator. Because if you're like a good player, if you're like a professional player, it basically gives you one free shot per round, which should but won't always give you one free opening kill every round, type thing, and that is like ridiculously strong. And that's only using an ability that she gets every round for free. So like she doesn't even have to pay for it. So I think some kind of rework should be put in place. I think the right click is too strong. you see like so many times where people just running around right clicking everyone, and people can't react because it's a professional player. They're fast reactions. This right clicking, you're dead. It's a bit too strong. So I'd like to see some workaround with that, but that's like the only problem I've ever had with Valorant. Like everything else is so good. I really like the updates. They're constantly working on the game. Obviously, like they're doing amazing work, right? And they should be like proud of what they've done so far.
How would you rework the up? I mean, do you just make the reload longer or something? Because the damage output, I feel like you can't really lower and have people be okay with it.
I think the operator's fine. It's just the operator combined with Jet. It's like an operator on like an Omen or something. Like it is doable. Like I think a lot of people just haven't found the best way to counter it yet. But I don't think the up needs changing too much. Maybe a scope sound, because I think that's a bit strong not having a scope sound. So like you can just repost on angles and people won't know. So I think that. But yeah, I think that's the only thing I changed with operator. I think it's pretty fine. Just Jet enables it to do so much more.
Yeah. So both of you coming from CSGO, and this is something that I struggle with, and I'm not a pro, obviously, but it's like, in CSGO, you really are just focused on firing and aim. And like, you have some utility with like smokes and nades and stuff, but it's not anything like the Valorant utility. So did it take you guys a while to learn like how to properly use your abilities? Like what is it like coming from CS to being a Valorant pro and like understanding that mechanic?
Oh yeah, we were awful at the start. You can ask Sliggy. Like we were useless with the abilities at the start, and I think like the first week of practice, we were just playing CS:GO, but like on Valorant. But like I think it's weird to say, but then we started playing like Valorant, if that makes sense. And I think we were one of the first teams to do that, and that's why we had like a lot of early success because we all got really good on our agents. I think we basically had the same lineup on every map very early on, so everyone got comfortable early. And I think like comfortable like allows people to play it better, and then the confidence came when we started winning, and we just kept like the momentum going from there.
ScreaM, how was it for you, Mr. One Tap? How did you get these abilities into your workflow?
Yeah, as Ekel said in the beginning, we played Valorant, like we played CS. We just wanted like to shoot people, and like because it was so addictive when you kill someone in Valorant. Like there's like I don't know, there's like some animation, there's like the blood and stuff. Like I don't know, it just makes the game really really addictive, and yeah, I think it took like 1 or 2 months to really understand how to play Valorant, to know every character as well, every agent, because in the beginning it was a lot of agents in the beginning. Like it took some time to learn all of them, all the spells, and to adapt as well. And I think now the game actually looks like something because a lot of people know how to play the game, and that's why it's gonna get harder and harder I think in the future as well, like for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of CS pros going over to Valorant just from other teams and just like other pros in the scene. So from your perspective, I guess more so ScreaM, because you've been around for a while, do you think that it's healthy for both scenes for like CS to just be porting over?
Okay, so yeah, a lot of players from CS went to Valorant. I think it's kind of the same reason as we do, because we couldn't find our place on CS anymore in the competitive scene. But I don't think that many players switched. Like the CS scene is still the same. Like there's no maybe for Nitro who left CS when he was in the top team. I think that's one of the only cases I know that actually left CS, because we were actually out of CS already, you know what I mean? Like we were not in the scene that much, so I don't take it as the same thing. And obviously right now for Valorant it's a very good thing. It's a very good thing that a lot of people are interested in the game, or like streaming it, like a lot of big names as well. So that's very good for Valorant. And for CS, I don't think anything really changed. I just think CS, the developer needs to I think bring some new things to CS, to keep it alive. That's very important for CS. But on the same side, I think like Valorant and CS can live together. They can live together, I think.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Eccles?
Yeah, I feel like not so many pros have like moved over, because I feel like a lot of them aren't able to, because obviously with contracts and stuff being teams, like they have like a good place in CS, so like why would they give it up for like a chance at a different game? So I feel that's why not too many have moved over. Like so even if people think, oh, Valorant's a better game or whatever, this and that, they're fed up of CS, but there's still contracted. They can't do much, so they're going to be staying there. But I think like Nitro moving over is like a big deal. Obviously, he was on Liquid, like the best team in the world in CS for a long time, and him coming over is like a big statement type thing, because obviously he's the first like person who was really recently active who's came over. So it's just going to be good for Valorant. Like more and more people will switch with time, and yeah, like ScreaM said, both can live in harmony. Like there's no like, oh, Valorant's better than CS, or this like kind of rivalry. It's just both are similar games, both are great games, and yeah, they're fun to watch. So
how are you guys getting on, like practicing remotely? Because everyone is still at home, right? Like, but you guys have plans to go to the EU facility at some point. So how is practice going for you now, and kind of what are you excited and looking forward to with the facility?
Practice is going good now. Obviously, I think maybe besides me in the core of Fish has been to like a boot camp before. Like I've been to a few, and they're not always ended up going too well. So like practicing like online, like we're used to that, and we're still doing like a lot of effort in and stuff like that. We're practicing every day. We're doing like long hours, doing lots of individual work as well after practice. So I'm really excited to go to the facility, because I feel like that's going to like boost up our work ethic even more. Like you're there in like a physical place, you see like someone on your team who's like grinding out deathmatch. You're like, okay, I want to grind out deathmatch too. Like I want to like, you know, compete and like make it more fun. Like you don't want to feel like you're slacking. If you see people putting in the extra time, you want to put in the extra time, and it just edges on everyone. And I feel like it's just like a massive positive to have.
Boot camps are good, but right now I think this is still the beginning of the team. Like this, for me, this is the very beginning. I think like real practice is starting now, and every day we are learning a lot of stuff, and for now we are how do you say this, evolving a lot, and finding ourselves as a team. I think that's the most important in the beginning. That's the hardest thing to do, to find yourself and to find your game style, and that's what we're trying to do right now, and it's going pretty well.
So I mean, ScreaM, you've obviously been on a couple big pro teams, so maybe being on Liquid isn't as big of a deal for you as it is for ec1s. But ec1s, for you, what was it like to, you know, initially be reached out to by somebody from Liquid and get that whole conversation started of joining the team?
It was crazy. Like we never thought like something like this had happened. Like when we first made Fish 123, we were like joking, oh, we're gonna be like on a big pro team and stuff. But then somehow, like, you know, it came to be, and it was just like, it was honestly surreal. Like being contacted like Liquid and as well like other big dogs. It was like I was kind of like speechless. Like I didn't expect it at all. So then like having the meetings and stuff with like org owners, I was like, this is crazy. Like I would never would have guessed this, and I don't think anyone would have guessed this. Like saying before Valorant that us Fish 123 would have ended up on Liquid or like any big org, anything like that. It's crazy stuff, man. I can't believe it.
And were you a fan of ScreaM before all of this even happened? Like just from being in the CS scene?
Yeah, of course, being a CS. I wouldn't say like a fan. I wasn't like, you know, writing to him like, oh, play like MM with me or anything like that. But I remember one of the first things I saw from CS was one of his frag movies, I think, or like a frag movie made about him. That's like when I first started CS. I was like, oh, this game looks pretty cool. This guy looks pretty good. So like, I guess like I looked up to him as a CS player. Obviously, like he was at the point where I aspired to be for a long time, but obviously didn't quite get there. But it's fine. But yeah, like it was the first few days of practice. I feel like people were a little bit not themselves so much, because like everyone was like, oh, we're playing with ScreaM, like, you know, they were kind of taken aback a little bit. But I think that quickly like went away, and like now like we see him more as a friend, not as like ScreaM the CSGO player, like as a friend and a part of a team.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you guys have evened it out a little bit. Who on the team is like, do you guys have a dedicated IGL or anybody that's making calls, or is it kind of just like a collective team effort on strategy and how you guys decide to play?
So I'm like the in-game leader, but our coach Sliggy obviously helps out a lot with like strategy, like ideas of how to play the game. Like Sliggy is like a massive help, and he helps out so much. He doesn't get the credit. Like I don't think he's a person who likes to be in the limelight, but Sliggy does so much awesome work for us, and like he's really a great asset to our team.
How does coaching work in Valorant when you guys play pro matches? Is it like CS where they can only talk during breaks, or is he able to talk to you guys the whole time? I actually don't know how it works.
So coaching isn't really a thing. Like he can't come in the server with us in pro matches. Like
Okay.
so he just like he'll sit in TeamSpeak and just like listen to the game, stuff like that. And like obviously because it's all online, like he can talk whenever. But we're choosing to only talk like whenever we pause or like stuff like that. So basically practicing for the future. Like Sleeky thinks very far ahead. Like even in Fish 123, he did this. So like he wouldn't speak during the games, like only like if we've paused or something like that, because he wants to get us prepared for like a LAN environment. So say if we're in like an official match on LAN, I can't just like ask Sliggy and teams like, what do we do? You know, like we've got to learn ourselves how to deal with stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how it's working at the moment.
Obviously, I'm not going to ask you guys to talk shit about Valve or anything like that, but in comparison, Valve to Riot, are you happier now playing a game that I guess has a publisher that cares more about the competitive scene overall?
Yeah, definitely. Like one of the coolest experiences I've had in Valorant so far, I got to speak to the devs. Like they like invited me on to talk about the game and stuff like that, and I was in like a Google meeting with them for like 2 or 3 hours or something like that, and everyone was just talking about the game. So that was just like really cool. Just like these guys actually care. And I can't remember. I think it might have been Hiko or something like tweeted saying, "I've had more contact with the Riot devs within like one day than Valve in like 10 years or something like that." So like, these guys actually care and actively want to improve their game. Whereas Valve, it's kind of like they sit back until they have to do something. Like they don't want to do something unless they need to, which I think is like a bad mindset for it. So that's why I'm really enjoying Riot now because they're actively wanting to improve.
Is it because the game, it's like CS as a game, needs less attention because it's been around for so long, or is it really like a competitive scene thing?
I think, man, maybe because I have seen Valve a couple of times on majors. Like in the first majors, there were like the Valve developers were coming at the events. They were talking to us. They were asking stuff, and like they were like at some point they were actually caring about the game a lot. I just think they didn't make a lot of changes because CS is like it's been like this since the beginning, you know, and it's been working well. Like everything is like CS is around for like 20 years, so why would they make it like different and stuff like this? But maybe of
Yeah,
course,
exactly.
like right now, you know, there's new games coming up and stuff. So you know, it's more about like the visual stuff. I think more about like this kind of stuff they need to make efforts on. But the game as it is, I think it's been amazing since the first day, since all the versions. Like they didn't need to make a lot of changes. But of course, I think Riot is gonna do things differently, of course, because I think they're not aiming at the same thing as well. I think and they're gonna take maybe like what Valve did wrong. Maybe they're gonna do it well, you know. So we'll see. But so far, it's been amazing, and I think Riot is on the good track for sure for their game, man.
Yeah, they have a pretty good track record so far. What
Yeah,
ec1s, when the devs called you and wanted to talk to you about it, like what kind of stuff were you discussing? Was it just like changes to the map, like changes to like what kind of stuff were they asking you, and what kind of input were you able to give?
It was just general stuff in the game where I can say one thing that we did speak about that has been implemented into the game. So the shotguns now, because obviously they shoot like a bunch of pellets like that. If one headshot you before, you get the full aim punch, which is kind of like unrealistic, you know. And they've changed that now, so like the pellets do less aim punch, so like it's not as like brutal as before. So stuff like that is like it's seen like they've listened to us and they've taken that into the game and we've had an effect, which is like really cool. Talking like about map design, all these loads of other things like that. It was just like it's just like a really cool experience. Like just sit there chatting to them, loads of people had loads of good ideas, and they took it like all on board.
What do you think the game needs? I know we talked about nerfing Jet a little bit and like maybe some op changes, but like what besides that, what do you both think the game needs in order for it to, in your eyes as a professional, kind of take that next step into being something more unique than it already is?
Definitely a new map. Four maps is not enough. They need 5 maps, especially for like the best of 5 formats. So I mean, America are blessed of them. Meanwhile, we're here with best of ones and stuff. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, definitely a new map. I think that will like, you know, build the competitive scene even more and gives like the casual players like another like fun experience. So new map. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, I think so too. I think new maps are important. Of course, it's been the beginning, but I think now we are feeling we're feeling like the 4 map is not enough, for a competitive scene. But it's building, it's building. They're gonna bring like a map every not every 2 months. It's like that's about the agents. But I think they of course are gonna plan to add maps. That's obvious, and we just gotta wait for it. And I think Valorant is like Riot is they're taking a lot their time. They wanna make sure things are balanced as well, and I think that's one of the most important thing in this game, which is also scary because if they're gonna add agents all the time and stuff, they need to make sure everything is very balanced, and that's the most important thing for the game. And if they keep up the good work like this, I think this game is definitely gonna get big and maybe as big as CS one day for sure. Maybe why not?
I think so. Especially with a developer like Riot backing it, and you look at League of Legends, they only have one map, right? But they have like 100-something champions. So do you think that Valorant is going to end up more on the agent side or more on the map side? Because you kind of need that for FPS. Like, where do you think the balance is going to lie with that?
Well, I think this game is more like CS. First of all, it's not like a League of Legends, so we need more maps. But of course, I think it's Riot, so they have a lot of champions on League of Legends, and on Valorant they're gonna have a lot of agents as well. I think so. Not as many, I think, but it's still gonna be more agents than maps all the time. So that's what makes the game so unique as well. Like when you think about it, like every team could have a different comp at some point, and that's gonna be very, very unique, and I love it, man.
I think they're gonna have like a good balance. Obviously, like not too many agents, not too many maps, because I feel like they need to consider like the competitive scene. If it gets to a point where it is like League of Legends, like that amount of champions, there's no way a team can practice like effectively because every single comp can just change, and like there's tens of different people that you can choose from. It'd just be too hard to be able to like prepare for people. So I think like a nice little healthy balance, and they'll hit the sweet spot and it'll be perfect.
How do you guys feel about Killjoy, the newest Valorant agent? Have you been playing her? What do you think about her utility?
Our Cypher main is delighted that he doesn't have to play Cypher because he's trying out Killjoy at the moment. He's loving it. It is really good. I think it's like basically a Cypher, but can like get kills like utility. So like certain comps that we're trying out at the moment, like Killjoy is like a vital part of it. So and it brings like a lot more than Cypher does. So yeah, Killjoy is really strong at the moment. People are doing some really crazy things with her ult and like combining utility with it. So I'm enjoying it so far.
I think so too. Killjoy is a better version of Cypher, like literally, man. It's like I don't know. It's like Breach and Phoenix. I think Breach is it's a better version of Phoenix as well. Like, but it's still different. It still brings different stuff. So yeah, man, Killjoy has been really good so far, especially after the nerf. I think they're trying to make it balanced because before that it was a bit broken. I think every time an agent is coming out, it's a little bit broken, or it has something to fix on it. Of course, it is how it is. It's same thing for the maps. Like of course, they can't make things perfect in the first time. So that's normal. That's totally normal. And so far, Killjoy has been really good.
That was the one thing that I was really surprised at when Valorant was first coming around was how balanced the game actually was. And I don't know if it's like this for you guys, but when I play, all of my games are like pretty close for like the skill range that I'm in. It's all like very, very competitive and very close. So why is it important for you guys to have such a balanced game like that as a professional?
I think the balance will bring like a lot of good comps around. So like obviously if every agent is equally as strong, then every comp will be like different, have its own unique twist, like people more comfortable with different agents and stuff. But like at the moment, obviously there's certain agents that are like stronger than the other. Raze, for example, when she first got brought in, had 2 nades. And her ult was even more Raze was the most broken thing. Every single game had to have a Raze. So if that's not a thing where every agent is equal, then a lot of different comps will be in add a lot more variables for people, and like it'll keep it fresh. Like that's one thing I hope they do. Like so it doesn't become a CS where every single team picks the same comp versus each other. Then it's like it's a different version of CS. But right now, I'm liking it.
Is there one agent that you absolutely have to have every time, like a Sage or something like that you guys like cannot think a team can exist without?
All right, I don't think so anymore. Like before that, I think like we always need like that Cypher, that Sage. Now you have the possibility of having a different comp all the time. So that's already good after such a small time of the game. I think that's really good. And what makes this game good as well is that you have to adapt all the time. Like you have to adapt if the guys are gonna have a special comp, or like you always have to adapt on what's happening in this game. And that's also what's different on CS as well.
As far as the competitive system goes, because I know it's still relatively new and it's not like quite figured out yet for you guys, would you rather have like an LCS style bracket where you're just in the same tournament all year and you do like different splits? Or would you rather have it operate more like a major system like CSGO where you have all these different like big Title 1 events?
I don't know. I just don't know.
I think a major, definitely. I think more like a CS system, like with a lot of events and like a lot of different events and stuff. But I think Rioters are gonna keep everything for themselves. I think they're gonna make their own events and stuff like this. I don't know if they're gonna partner with like ESL or I don't know, like organizations like this. But I like that system a lot.
And Eccles, you're an I don't know. You're whatever they do.
I don't know. I didn't experience too many tier 1 events.
Like we just want like big events, like
Yeah.
like on CS. But I think Riot can do it, and they have the resources to do it. They have everything to do it, man.
Well, the thing about CS, right, is like the prize pools were pretty big. You have like these big Title 1 events that you go to, and it's like there's more on the line, where I feel like Riot, at least for on the league side, you only have like one event a year, which is Worlds, which is like kind of the premier one. But the rest of it is like there's not huge prize pools involved. It's kind of just bragging rights. So what do you guys care about more? Do you care about a healthy competitive scene, or do you care about like winning buckets of money?
I think of course the competitive scene. Of course, money is important, but okay, it makes it special if you're like in LCS. It makes you like very special team, you know. Like it's only a few teams that are like in this, and it's only one big league. So it's very. I think it has to be really important to be in that league. So and really hard as well. So it makes it special as well. But at the same time, it's scary to think about it if you don't have enough events in the year. I think that's not good as well. You need a couple of events in the year, just like CS, I think, and you try to mix things up. And I don't know, man. I think that's the best thing.
Yeah, obviously there's like the big prestige of being like an LCS, but something for me that always like appealed to me, like watching these CS events, is that you get to like travel to loads of different like countries that you'd never been to. Like I remember my friends with Spooey, and he's like talking like, "Oh, I'm going to Brazil for an event." And I'm just thinking to myself, that's kind of sick, isn't it? You just get to go to Brazil to play like a video game, like countries that you'd never go to. Or like I don't think I would have ever gone to Sweden if it wasn't for like CS, like stuff like that. But just like going all over the world with Valorant, that would be like amazing.
I think I mean, it sounds good on paper, but if you talk to any of our CS guys, they had to start dropping events because they were traveling so much that it was like wearing on their mental. So it could go either way, you know?
Yeah, like I think traveling too much is that's when you have to balance it, like to make sure like it doesn't become too much at some point, and you still have to practice as well. Like for example, if you're gonna have like 2-3 events in a row, you're not gonna be able to practice, and like the level you're gonna show is not gonna be the same as well for the spectators as well. I think it's better to have less events and better quality than too many events in a row.
I'm sure you experienced that at some point, ScreaM, just the mental drain. And especially for something like Valorant, if you guys are in a competitive circuit and you're going back to back to back and a new agent gets released or a new map gets released and teams have an opportunity to just be grinding on those things, by the time you play those teams, you're probably going to lose, you know? Like there is a delicate balance, I think, with the competitive scene for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like just people using comps, like I've seen Bonker using Split on Split, they're using Viper, and every time we practice them, it just causes like a lot of issues because they're the only team like I've seen that plays Viper on Split. So it's like, okay, all the things that we do versus like these normal comps, they're out the window. Now we just need to adapt on the fly, and it is hard to play against. And like I think we'll see that in the future for like big tournaments, say like LAN events. Like teams will practice these strange, outrageous comps that people just won't know how to deal with, and like it'll give them the edge, you know. So stuff like that, I'm looking forward to, but it's kind of it's just hard. It's really hard to prepare for.
What is Viper on Split why is that unique to your scrims? Because I see Viper on split all the time, but I'm like gold too, so I don't know. At your level, it might be completely different than mine.
I think Viper, like most of the people who play Viper, they play Viper on split. So, like for now, Viper hasn't been that much in the professional comps, but it's still really weird when you play a lot of teams and the only team who plays Viper is one team. So you have to adapt, and like even that small change is so hard like to adapt. So in the future, it's gonna be really like the adaptation aspect is gonna be really important, I think.
Do you guys think about that when you're drafting against teams? Like, do you try to pick counters, or do you try to like go more with your comfort picks of what you think will be good for your own individual play?
Well, right now we're as I said earlier, we are still trying to search ourselves, to find ourselves, and of course, I think at some point you can have a comp that can actually counter. Like there's always a counter, like for everything. Like for example, Killjoy ults, like Brimstone is like the totally counter for it. Like you just ult on her ult and it breaks. Like that's also a very good fact about the game is that you can. Like we don't know that yet because the game is still young, but it's like a League of Legends. Like there's a lot of counters actually. Like that's what makes the game balance as well.
For those players out there that are listening, and God rest your souls, I apologize. Those iron and bronze players, from you guys, what are some things that they can do to improve their gameplay? Like today, listening to this podcast, walking away with this advice, like what advice are you giving them to get better at Valorant right now?
Follow my Twitch channel.
Wait, so we have a death match? Wait, you have a death match? What'd you say, ScreaM?
I said follow my Twitch channel. No, but like I think I think it's good. No, but I'm not kidding. I think watching pro players on Twitch, like streams and things like this, can help you a lot to improve. I think because they will do things the right way, and you will learn that. As simple as it is, and.
But people don't understand. Like when you're jiggle peeking corners or your crosshair placement is high. Like I don't know if people would actually watch a stream and understand that that's what you're doing. Because I still see people all the time walking around with their crosshair pointed at people's feet. I'm like, what do you do? Like, do you not understand that? Like it's little basic mechanics, I think, like that really make a huge difference. And maybe you don't know because you've been doing this for so long that you're just like muscle memory
of course
is used to it,
natural,
right?
It's natural right now. But I think, of course, if you're like a silver, like you're the first rank ever, I think first of all you gotta know how to hold your mouse, how to like what sensitivity you're gonna put, like these basic settings. The basic settings for, like make sure to have a good monitor, like at least 144 hertz, so you're in good conditions.
Alienware.
Yeah, Alienware, of course. Maybe
nice
even
plug.
Even 240 hertz if you can do it. But make sure to have a good setup, like to have a good sensitivity, not too high, not too low, like just to find out your good thing. And in this game, you have so much things to work on, like so much aspects you can work on, like on the agent specs or on the aim spec, or like there's a lot of aspects you can work on, and like it takes some time, and you just have to practice as well to play the game. That's how you evolve the best, I think, if you actually practice the game.
And you said deathmatch, which I'm gonna throw an unpopular opinion. I actually think deathmatch is good for aim training, but it's not good for like realistic game training because people are just sprinting around the map, and nobody does that when you actually play. You just hear loud footsteps coming from like a mile away, and it's kind of easy for you to line up shots. But why do you, as a pro, think that deathmatch is the way to go?
So I could like elaborate on it more. Like I agree with ScreaM. So say if you're just starting the game, you need to pick a sensitivity that's going to be like viable. So like for example, just copy a pro setting, or like find the average of like a pro's sense and just use that. Just so like like people can get good on this. Then you want to like practice your mechanics. Obviously, the first thing actually you want to get better. Like some people just play games for fun, like you said, like people run around looking at the floor. Like they've probably never put a single thought thinking, oh, if I aim at their head level, I have to move my mouse left so I can kill people quicker. That's probably never came into the head before. Yeah. It sounds stupidly obvious, but people just aren't considering it. So you want to get better, like you copy like some pro settings, and then I'd recommend is like you just play one agent and just find like plays on every map that you can do on the agent. It's like you can watch like a pro stream or anything like that. You can look at YouTube videos because there's so much content on YouTube for people to look at. So like you just find some set plays that you can do with your agent that work well, and they'll be able to like get you some kills. And like you just get more comfortable in the agent, and you'll just like get better and better and better, and just start climbing the ranks naturally.
And then what happens when you put, 80 hours a week? I don't know if that's realistic. I'm just making up a number. 80 hours a week into Omen, and you're like, all right. And then you go into Q, and somebody just instantly yoinks Omen. And then what do you do? Yeah. I guess how are you splitting your time with agents?
Then you dodge the game, man. That's easy.
Yeah,
you just dodge
the game, bro. No, no, don't do that, guys. But okay. I think
don't
of course,
dodge. That's so annoying.
That's what makes the game a little bit difficult as well, because you have different agents you have to master, and that's of course important. You can't only play one agent, but of course in the beginning you gotta start with something. So just give Jet a try or Omen a try, whatever. But you gotta practice a couple of games with the same agent to master it, of course.
What do you guys have coming up in the near future as far as tournaments and events, and who are you looking forward to rematching, all that stuff? Where are you guys at on that spectrum?
Tournaments wise, I'm not sure. I think we've got one, but I'm not sure if I can say. I don't think it's been announced yet. So there's that coming forward.
Leaks.
I can't leak, but there's that coming up, and obviously looking forward to. I think everyone's looking forward to the day we eventually beat G2. I think everyone, like, I speak to Meadow from Plus Phoenix, and he's like, man, we need to beat these guys. I'm like, yeah, we really do. Because watching G2, like, they're obviously like a great team. They get away with like a lot of things because I think they're all just really individually good, which I don't think it can't last forever. It's not consistent enough. Like, it will happen. Like, everyone's practicing hard. Like, people will catch up. So obviously looking forward to getting to play G2, hopefully beating them and, taking the next tournament win.
What is it about G2 that you think is, like, outside of their individual skill? Because it is a team-based game. So, like, why do they have your number so aggressively? Is it aggressively? I don't know. You've never beaten G2? I don't want to rub salt in the wound or anything.
We beat them on one map, but they won every tournament so far. Like they played, so they're definitely on top right now. What makes them good, I think G2, is the fact that they can adapt better than most of the teams right now. They don't have crazy stuff. They do very simple stuff, but the way they do it, it works. And like for now, as the teams are new and everything, and I think you can, as Akel said, you're getting away with a lot of rounds and a lot of games because of small mistakes that the other team is doing. Actually, I don't think G2 is doing the how do you say this, man? They're of course good, but as Akel said, it's not gonna last a long time. I think for sure.
Is there any up and coming teams that you guys kind of have your eyes on that might be a threat? Another like similar Fish 1-2-3 story where it's like just a group of dudes who really want it.
I think, to be honest, man, I don't have a name right now, but Valorant is gonna. I think a lot of people are gonna surprise in this game. Like, I think a lot of people, even from other games than CS, like let's say it's Overwatch players or Fortnite players, or whatever game it is. I think this game is so much strategy. It's so much about strategy that anyone can come up and be like the mastermind of the game and just do some crazy stuff because they master their agents. Maybe they don't have the same aim as we do. Like they're not as good as we do, but like let's be honest, the aim on this game is not that hard on CS. It's not as harder on CS. And like as soon as you're in a good positioning in this game, you're 8 out of 10 times gonna win the duel because the positioning is the most important. The strategy is the most important in this game for sure, man. So definitely some people will come up with some new team and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't say any team specifically. I think like a lot of the upcoming teams have now like disbanded. I think everyone's just like, trying to climb above each other to get on an org for some reason, which is kind of backwards with how like it should be, but that's just the reality of it at the moment. Everyone's like secured like their own future, so they're just doing what they can. So I think anyone can do it. I mean, look at us. Like, if you like mentioned our names to anyone before Valorant, that no one would know who we are, like type thing. So anyone can do it. It is possible. It's just like we just showed like a really good like dedication, work ethic, and we just wanted it.
And now you're here on Liquid. competing at the highest level, which is awesome. I think we're about wrapped here. I do want to give a special shout out and hear your guys' opinions. I know we talked on Discord, but a special shout out to Enigma for the super badass announcement video that we did for our team. And he's since joined Liquid full time as a content creator. He streams, he does amazing 3D stuff. So shout out Enigma. What did you guys think of the video?
Oh, that video was so good, man. I could we got like little snippets of the video, and Dom, who's like into like always editing and stuff, was going like crazy. He was like, "This guy's the best ever." Like, I've watched this guy since like CS Source or something like that, doing stuff. It was like, it's such a crazy video. And even just like the announcement, we had to wait so long because the video obviously takes a long time. And we're like, right, we're joining Liquid. Then we had to like wait a long time for it to come out. And it was just like, I was just like itching to like, change my Twitter handle to like, I'm in Liquid and tell everyone. It's kind of
that's mostly my fault, and I apologize for that. We wanted to make it good, and I was talking to Victor, and he was like, "Yeah, so can we announce?" And I was like, "I need another like 2.5 weeks," and he was like, "What?" Like, yeah. Just give me time for this video. I just want it to be good.
It was worth it. The video was insane.
Yeah, for sure. That was I think that was the best intro video I have ever seen. Basically, like I don't think anyone worked that hard on an intro video, and like the talent of this guy is Enigma is so good, man. It's so strong. So hopefully we're gonna get some more videos like this in the future, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
man.
of course. Yeah, I know. You messaged me on. I think I sent you a clip, ScreaM, and you were like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could write one tap on the gun?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me see if we can do that."
Yeah, man. Like, why not, man? I don't know. When I was watching the video, everything was perfect, but like something was missing, man. I have the feeling something is missing in the video. I was searching, and then, man, yeah, one tap, bro. Of course, like that's what was missing, and it's so good that you guys could add this in the video as well. Like, it's a small detail, but for me, it's just important, like.
Yeah, it was cool. I sketched it on my iPad. I like went in and I wrote it and I just exported it and gave it to him. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just like engrave it into the gun." I was like, "Yeah, cool.
Let's go, man.
You have a insane skill set." Well, you shouted out your Twitch stream earlier, ScreaM. So where can people find you? Where do you want to point them to all your stuff?
All right. Basically, I'm on every social. Like you can follow me anywhere you want. Basically, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. The most thing I use is Twitter probably, but I still make some video on YouTube and some posts on Instagram. So you guys can follow me wherever you want, and of course on Twitch. So I'm live on Twitch pretty often. So that's
Are you at ScreaM everywhere?
No, not everywhere. But.
Oh, you have different handles for each individual social media account? Oh, God. You're one of those people.
On Instagram, it's ScreaM the King. Don't judge it. That's a name I had in 2013. I have Instagram since 2013, so I haven't changed my name, but I don't think I will change it. It's just gonna stay like this forever. Yeah, that's what's my name. And on Twitter is ScreaM_, and Twitch is just ScreaM, and that's it, man. But you can find me pretty easily, I think.
Awesome. ec1s, where can we find you?
Streaming a lot on Twitch, just at ec1s, ec1s. On Twitter, ec1s_. Doing a giveaway there for $50 worth of Radiant points and $50 of TL merch. So if you want to get some TL merch, follow me on Twitter, retweet the giveaway. And YouTube, obviously, I think we're doing like a video every week, just like, highlights, stream highlights, like ranked games, like a new one coming up, me and ScreaM playing like ranked together. It's pretty fun, come check it out. And on Instagram, it's kind of new, it's ec1s__ because everyone's taking my name.
Oh God, 2 underscores.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing? 2 underscores. All right, ec1s__. And if you want to find me at Naughty and Sans, mainly on Instagram and Twitter, that's where I'm the most active. And of course, you are listening to TILTS, the Interesting Liquid Talk Show, available on all of your favorite podcast applications, including Apple Podcasts, where you, if you like this episode, should give us a nice, tasty 5-star review, and maybe I'll shout you out in the next episode. Probably because we do the shameless self-promotion thing all the time. If you'd like to watch the episode of TILTS, you can find us at Team Liquid's YouTube channel at youtube.com/Team Liquid. But that's all for now. That's all we got for this episode of TILTS, and I will see you guys in the next one.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.